All right, guys. So I'm just going to start off by saying I'm not as funny as the other guy. Sebastian comes up to me while the comedian is speaking and says, "Rozel, is it okay if you go right after him?" And I'm like, I gotta meditate. Oh my gosh, I've got some big shoes to fill. So my name is Rozel, and I own a yoga studio or a wellness center in the West Island. Sebastian and I go a long way back. We've been friends since we were teenagers. And today I'm here to talk to you about what I do. And sometimes people see that I have a wellness center and they say, okay, she does yoga, they do Pilates, they do Zumba, but what I actually do is I help to uplift people. What I try to do is I take the philosophy of yoga and I try to teach people how to apply it in their everyday life. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. This morning, when I was speaking to a lot of you in the little marketplace, I realized that a lot of you are stressed. There's a lot of anxiety. I spoke to some people and I said, tell me what it is that what causes anxiety in you? And somebody said, well, it's, the goals that I have to reach every month. When it's at the end of the month, I have to meet a quota, or I have to, I have to just get all of these things done, and I don't know how to manage my time. And all of this stuff becomes like clutter inside of your mind that you have to deal with it. And what's important is, well, how do you actually deal with it? So today I'm going to give you some insight into the philosophy of yoga and how it can maybe become a tool for you in your everyday life. Okay? You guys are game for that? You're okay? Awesome. Next, please. So how many of you ever tried yoga before? Yeah. Oh, professionals. I like this. So this is called Ekapada Shirshasana. I'm going to speak a little Sanskrit to you. Does your practice look like this? No? Sebastian, when you came to my class, we did this one, no? No? Okay. Let's try the next slide. How about this? Does your practice look like this? No? How many of you know what it means to set an intention? Yeah? So at the beginning of every single yoga class, what we like to do is we set an intention. And what we do at that point is we take the time to just breathe deeply, and we try to focus all of our attention to one specific thing. And sometimes I offer intentions. I say, well, maybe today you want to think about the word patience, or maybe it's, strength. Maybe sometimes you want to take all of your attention and all of your positive energy and direct it to someone in particular that may be needing a little bit of help today, right? So you let go of all of the clutter that's inside of your mind, and when you practice, you kind of dedicate it to something special. Now, when you set an intention, it's not only for the practice that's about to happen. It's not just for the next hour and a half or hour. When you set an intention, you can take this practice and set it for the beginning of your day, so that when you wake up, things have greater clarity, and you kind of have like a goal for the day, something that you're working towards. So would you like to maybe just try this a little bit with me? Is that okay? Okay. So I'm going to offer you, because some of you raised your hand and said, yes, I've tried yoga before, and some of you did not. And I know that yoga, for some people, they might think it's for girls, right? Or I'm not flexible. I can't touch my toes. I can't do that. But I'm telling you today that yoga is for everyone, okay? So I want you to set an intention of being open, okay? Please. So I want you to sit up nice and tall and ferme les yeux. We're going to relax your shoulders. And we're going to begin to breathe very, very deeply. I'm like, okay, I'm going to breathe because that's not the right music. But that's okay. Let's try this again, all right? So we're going to close our eyes. Take deep breaths in and out through your nose. And we try to keep our body completely still, only paying the most attention to the breath that's moving in and out through our nose. Imagine a big balloon inside of your body, and as you breathe in, you feel that you're creating space inside of you, creating this openness, an openness to anything that's new, to a new possibility, perhaps to a new idea. As you breathe in, you take in everything that is good around you. You take in the positive energy in this room. You think of the things that make you smile. And then with every exhalation, we let go. We let go of anything inside of you that just no longer serves you. And we breathe. And if your mind wants to wander, if you feel this unease in the tranquility of the moment, it's just telling you that there's something that we need to work on. We need to work on being quiet with our own thoughts, work on being comfortable with just ourselves. And it's okay if it's a little bit difficult. Let's take one more deep breath in. And this time I want you to take a deep breath in and sigh. Inhale. One more time, a little bit louder. Inhale. And slowly open up your eyes. Beautiful. So are we open? We're ready? All right. So maybe your practice looks like this. When we think of yoga, many of us think that we have to be doing gymnastics or standing on our heads. But yoga is much, much more than that. The actual definition of yoga is that yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations of the mind. So we have so much clutter inside of our mind every single day, and we want to be able to be at peace. And the only way that we can be at peace is if we bring our mind away from running forward, looking back. We need to come to the present moment. So there's this notion of time, right? If you look at a sleeping baby or a child, they can sleep very well, right? Their breath is very calm and tranquil because they're not racing. They don't have the anxiety that an adult has about what will happen in the future. Will I get this promotion? Will I be able to sell this house? Will I be able to meet my quota? Or they're not able to look back either. They don't have this insight to say, like, it wasn't fair, right? Why did this happen to me? This is like, how could she or how could he? They just think, I'm sleeping, I'm happy, I'm with my mommy, this is great, I'm eating, I'm sad. It's about what's happening right now. But as we become older, we become a little bit more jaded and we start thinking about this notion of time. Other things that distract our minds are things like sickness, right? When our body is at dis-ease, when we are not well inside of our body, well, then it takes time in our mind. It starts to take up space and to preoccupy what's happening inside of your mind. And this is why asana, which is your physical practice, is so important. It's not to say that we want you to be able to touch your toes or stand on your head, but you want to do all that you can to optimize your body so that your body stops becoming a preoccupation in your mind. You want your body to be as well as it can be so that you have a better balance in your body and in your mind. The asana practice, the physical practice, is really only one small part of the whole science of yoga, the whole philosophy of yoga. And this is what we're going to talk about today. We're okay? We're not falling asleep? We're all right? Yes. All right. Let's keep going. So how many of you deal with anxiety? Yes. You're in the right place. You're in the right place. anxiety, stress, distractions, right? Next, please. What we teach in yoga is that we have to take it step by step. The only way, and you all know this, that the only way to grow is if we are able to raise the lid. I saw Tito Kang there. I learned that from Tito. Raising the lid, breaking out of our mold, breaking out of the box. And when we take it, when we talk about that in a yoga class, right, we're always trying to help that person find their edge. Never to the point where you're hurt, because if you're hurt, you're going to take 5 steps back. But you're always trying to find that little space where I'm slightly out of my comfort zone, but guess what? I can do this. I can breathe. I can wait and take deep breaths until my nervous system calms down. And when my nervous system calms down, it becomes a place of comfort. And then from there, we continue to grow. We continue to go. So the same philosophy that you're doing with your body in a yoga class is exactly the same thing that you want to do when you're in a new job, in a new relationship, taking on a new project. I used to be in the corporate world, right? I used to be in the corporate world where everything was all about the results. And it causes a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety. And yoga was something that really helped me to deal with those situations. And when we move out of our comfort zone, this is where the magic happens. So these are the founding principles of yoga. There are many more, but these are the ones I would like to speak about today. Your breath, your foundation, your strength, your connection, and gratitude. Today I'm going to be telling you a little story about the struggles and the difficulties that I faced. Explain to you how through those difficulties it's changed my perspective on life, and how today I see life really as a glass half full, and how I've found a way to take my passion and make it what I love to do, my passion, make it my living and the way that I choose to, live every single day. Now I have to tell you, the story that I'm going to tell you is a hard one for me to say, so please bear with me, okay? So your breath is a reflection of your state of mind. Does that say anything to you guys, right? So maybe someone can help me. Seb, what does your breath feel and sound like when you are pissed off? Heavy, right? Ugh! Why did this happen? Get out. I told you to stop using your phone. That's what I tell my kids all the time, right? Stop fighting with your brother or else, right? You're mad. What does your breath sound like or feel like when you're sad? Slow, could be slow, or you might be an ugly crier, right? I'm an ugly crier, right? When I was pregnant, I've had 3 kids, and when you're full of hormones, I'm like, ah, right? My poor husband, right? Poor husband. His name is Seb too. But, when you're really, really sad, there's like this heaving, wailing, and out of control, like this rhythmic breath that happens. What about when you're afraid? You pull back your breath. When you're afraid, all you want to do is hide. You want to hide in the back, right? It's like as if you're tippy-toeing. You don't want that person to hear you. You stop your breath. You hold your breath, right? What about when you are worried? Right? Come on. You don't breathe anymore, right? You don't breathe anymore, or maybe you're just, oh my God, right? You're rushing from point A to point B. Am I going to be late? It could be just little things. Am I going to be late? Am I going to make it? Am I going to be able to do that report on time? Am I going to be able to make that person happy? And it's like you're in this constant marathon, right? You're in a constant marathon. And what happens is that over time, this manifests in your body. And it shows, right? People who come and have back problems and shoulder problems, and their posture becomes like this, and everything manifests physically because of your habits, because of your job, because of your attitude, because of your breath. It's a full circle. So I've been in that situation before. I'll let you know about it. So, September 30th, 2010. September 30th, 2010 is like 6 days and like 3 days to 7 years ago. And this was my new beginning. On this day, I felt all of these emotions: fear, pain, tears, sadness. I was mad. My life was spinning out of control, and I could no longer breathe. This is my family. I have another son now, but this was in 2010. My oldest son was 5 years old, and my youngest was 2. And we had the perfect life. My husband was working in IT. I worked in pharma, full-on amazing careers. And in corporate, we had the house, the 2 cars, everything was perfect. And then all of a sudden, one day, my perfect life was going so wrong. So what happened was, my eldest son, Luca, was diagnosed with cancer. And I was, at the time, at Pfizer, and responsible for planning and forecasting. This was my specialty. My entire life was on a spreadsheet. 5 years, how much I'm going to save, exactly what I'm going to be doing. How much is my, what is the split between our, my husband's income and my income? Who pays for what? By the percentage. Like, I was a little crazy, right? And this was not on my spreadsheet. I was so consumed with my work that my son was getting headaches for a couple of days, and the day that I brought him into the hospital, I actually went to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, put a little Post-it on my boss's monitor to say, "Don't worry, I'm going to get that report to you by the end of the day." Well, guess what? I didn't go back to work for a year. My son was in the hospital for 9 months. So my son had something called Burkitt's leukemia lymphoma, and if you follow hockey at all, Saku Koivu, he had exactly the same thing. Saku Koivu was, he got it as an adult. And if maybe you don't know, but Burkitt's lymphoma, it's a tumor that grows and doubles in size in 24 hours. My son had a lymphoma in the middle of his head, behind his nose, that was pressing on his optic nerves. And all of a sudden, one morning, he woke up and he couldn't see out of his left eye. He had headaches, and we thought we were going into the hospital because of a sinus infection. We thought we were so smart. On our cell phones, sitting at the children's hospital saying, "Oh, well, he has this symptom and he has that symptom. Probably a sinus infection. They're just going to have to drain it." Well, no, it wasn't. Stage 4 lymphoma that metastasized to his blood. So lymphoma and leukemia at the same time. This is a picture of Luca at the beginning of his chemotherapy. This is my brother, Carlo. I can keep going. Go back a bit. One more. I was so afraid that, the prognosis for his leukemia was not so bad. I mean, it's like 60, 70% chance of survival. But I was also so afraid that my son might never see me again. Imagine that. I wanted results right away. We were at the children's hospital, and my son is screaming in pain. And I thought, I don't know anything about the medical system. I thought they would have an injection that would stop the pain. But it doesn't work like that in the hospitals. It's like a little morphine at a time. Let's see if this does anything. You have to wait an hour, a little bit more, they titrate, okay? And it's so hard to just watch your child suffer. I was mad. The first night that we got there, they did a biopsy. We figured out we were never going home for a very long time. And I wanted to sleep in his bed with him. And the nurse kicked me out, told me it was too dangerous. I wanted my husband to stay in the room with us. And they said, "I'm sorry, madame, it's like one parent at a time." I was losing it. I was impatient, I was aggressive, I was full of tears, and I could no longer breathe anymore. My life was spinning out of control. In about 1 week, I lost 10 pounds, and then I had come to this realization that, holy shit, if I want to help my son, I need to take control and take care of myself. If I don't take care of myself, my son has nobody else to count on. There's my husband and I, but if we both lose it, he will not survive. So we made this shift in our minds to say, you know what? We can only control what we can, and we need to take our anxiety away and just live in the present moment. So here's a picture of Sebastian, my husband. And we decided one day that, you know what? We're not doctors. I can't control this. The only thing that we can really do is love our kid. That's it. So this is a picture where, it's funny because Seb said, I'm going to shave my head with you, and you're not going to be by yourself. We're going to do it together. So he buzz cuts his head, and then we say to Luca, Luca, it's your turn. Do you want to do it? He's like, no. No, I don't want to do it anymore. We're like, okay, all right. But at this moment, you know, it looks sad, but I can actually tell you that it's one of the most beautiful moments to actually be able to spend your time with your child without any other distractions of work or activities. You're just there. And the only thing that you want to do is spend time with that person and love them. That's it, you know. So it was hard to understand, but it was a quite beautiful time. Foundation. Foundation was so important. So in yoga, we talk about, you know, grounding and making your body feel strong against the earth so that you can stand tall. If you're not anchored, there's no way that you can extend and be strong. So during this time, our foundation became our family, our friends. This is his brother at the time, Jonah. And we realized who our true friends are at the time, and we bonded and we created these really strong relationships. We found our tribe. Strength, okay? In yoga, we talk about something called tapas. It's discipline and commitment. To do anything that is hard, it takes a commitment and it takes a discipline. It takes hard work. And this 9 months of chemotherapy, trust me, for a 5-year-old, for anyone, it's freaking hard work. Very, very, very arduous, very hard, very painful. But you know what? We stuck to it. There are times when I was crying just to beg him to take his medicine. Imagine that. Begging your child to take their medicine, and they're 5 years old. They don't understand that if you don't take that medicine, you know, it's not good. You need to take it. So he made it. My son's he's a hero. He was 5. Connection. So this is a picture in May, almost a year after his treatment. It's the end of his treatment party. Connection. In yoga, we talk about how every single fiber in your body needs to work together. Every single cog in the machine has to work together. If one part is sleeping, the machine doesn't work very well. And when we talk about connection in yoga, we talk about how everyone is connected. There is a concept called ahimsa, and it means no harm, meaning that you need to take care of yourself so that you can take care of everybody around you. If you don't take care of yourself, there's nothing left for you to give. We need to realize that we are all together. It's not just one. We are all part of the same system. So this manifests and is extended not just into the people around you, but in nature and in the environment. It goes down to the choices you make in terms of what you're consuming or what you're eating. We are all connected. And gratitude, okay? This was his picture taken on his last day of treatment. And when we talk about gratitude, it's about a practice of abundance. Not wanting what you don't have, because you will always want more. The bigger house, the bigger car. You have one house, you'll fill it up. You buy another house, you're going to fill it up. And it's just going to continue to go on and on and on. And the way to avoid suffering is to not have this expectation of having more. It's about being happy with what you have today. We were happy in the hospital. We were happy spending time together. This is my son last year. He's well. He's been 7 years in remission. He has one battle scar, so he did lose the vision in one eye, but the other eye is 20/20, and he's a regular boy. He started high school this year, and he's doing fantastic. This experience for my family was a catalyst for change. It gave us a new appreciation for life, a greater sense of connection, and a realization that time is of the essence. Just like Sebastian said, do what you love to do, okay? It made us really relook at our values and look at where we were spending our energy. For myself, I left my job and I decided to do everything that I could to give back to people. We got so much help during this time, and we just wanted to be able to help other people and teach people that, you know what, you cannot control what's going to happen to you tomorrow, but the best that you can do is take care of the body that you have. Take care of it and be proactive, because when you go to the hospital, they're just putting Band-Aids on you, right? They're treating what has already happened. But if there's something that you can do to make yourself stronger, mentally and physically, we do that. So that's what we try to do through the work that we do at the studio. Go back one more, please. We have an improved confidence to be able to face hardship. After you go through something like that, opening up a new business is really, what's going to happen? Like, I'm not going to die, I'm going to try this, right? If it doesn't work, I'm a smart girl. I'm going to find another job, right? It's been 4 years now that we have our studio, so we're really, really happy about that. But everything is relative, right? Everything is relative. If you are grounded and you have that tribe around you and you're taking the time for yourself and really looking at things for what they really are, then there's a way for you to find a way to make things work. So we're no longer as scared of things as we used to be, because we know that, life is precious, but life is not forever. So do what you love to do and be willing to move out of your comfort zone. It's the only way that you're going to grow. So the lessons learned for today are: take your yoga, even if you don't touch your toes or do headstands. Take the philosophy of yoga off the mat, and you do it one breath at a time. One more, please. And when you practice yoga, you can practice it in your way, right? So Sebastian took his team and they went up a mountain, right? It could be practicing, doing that new project or going for that new job or having the next kid or whatever it is that you want to do. But don't be afraid to step into newness. Move out of your comfort zone. Namaste.